Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk to you about Bravo's Love Hotel. So, this was a little cute little episode. So, we start off where we ended last week's episode with Shannon giving something to Earl. So, apparently, what she gave him was she found his stepson. So I think it was in the first episode or maybe the second episode, he explained how he was married. The first time he was married, he had a stepson, and he told his stepson that he was going to give him his motorcycle. So he's had the bike in the garage, you know, to give to his stepson, but because he hasn't seen his stepson since the parents' divorce. He was talking to Shannon about this, and um she just did a good thing for him, just find his stepson, and it was so sweet. He cried, and she told everybody, so they were all excited and they wanted to be there with her to tell him, but she was just like, I don't know how he's going to react, so let me just tell him by myself. So he was very appreciative of it. They went downstairs, and they yeah, they went downstairs, and all everybody was hugging her and giving her um like giving him, like, just being loving on him or whatever. So she was talking to Adam, and Adam was just like, "Oh, okay, that's a good thing. How did you do it?" Just basically, trying to fill out what happened or whatever. And Shannon was talking to him, but you could tell that Shannon was just like, okay, like, yeah. So you could tell she's not feeling him no more because he didn't show any effort towards her the night before. So we have the everybody just talking, mixing things or whatever. And Wale and Ashley, no, I'm sorry, Jason tries to talk to Ashley. So he like says, "Hey, can we go talk over here for a little bit?" And she was just like, "Okay, I'll be right there." And she blows him off to talk to Wale. So he's over there sitting by himself, like, waiting on her to come. And she just over there chilling, talking to Wale. So, she's talking to him. They're talking about when he wants to have kids. And he was just like, within the next 4 years. And she's just like, 4 years. And he was just like, I mean, between 1 to 4 years, or maybe even 30 days. Like, you want to start now, just, joking with her or whatever. And she's like caught off guard by it, which I don't know why she's caught off guard by it, because he said from jump that he wanted kids. So we're gonna get to them when we get to the end. The next day is a chill day because they're gonna do an eliminations that night. So they're like, they're told to just like talk to the guys and make sure your connections are what they really are or whatever. So um they all, like, they all mingled with their people or whatever. um let's see what else happened, because a lot happened in this episode, and it was just like boom, 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 real quick. So it was just like, okay, it's a lot going on, but okay. So they're mingling. We get to that night, and the ladies have to pick their guy. So before they could start the picking, um, Joel asked, if there are any guys that want to, like, say, like, try to speak up, like speak for themselves, to, like, like when they do those, like, final roses, I think that's what it's called, or when they just basically saying what they're to get picked. So he asked the guys who wants to say anything. So Jay decides to bow out. And he was just like, I came here for Love Hotel, not Friendship Hotel. I found friendship in everybody, but I know the one person that, I wanted to have a connection with, I don't have the connection with. So I'm just going to make it easier and just gracefully bow out. So all the ladies are just like, oh, okay. So they all give him a hug, and Shannon is crying because that's her friend. She likes him and she's gonna miss him. So he leaves. So then we get the girls to pick. So Shannon, she has to pick between Earl or Adam. She picks Earl. Giselle picks Phil. Luann picks Jane. And then we get Ashley, and she picks Ralph. And I was just like, wow, okay, I did not see that coming. But then again, I should have seen that coming. So all the other ladies are just like, they weren't happy about it. So Joel tells them, you can get an extra key. But if you get an extra key, then you're gonna lose a key the next night because new guys are gonna come in and they're gonna have to bring in some. They're gonna pick four new guys. So they all decide to use the key on Wale because they want Wale to come back or whatever. So Ashley gives Wale the key or whatever. And he's feeling some type of way, which understandable. I feel some type of way too. So they go on their way. Wale decides to go to bed early or whatever. And oh, before he goes to bed, Ashley tells him, I could see myself falling in love with you. And he was just like, how? You've just picked Ralph. Why are you saying you could see yourself falling in love with me if you picked Ralph? Like, why aren't you spending time with Ralph right now? Why are you talking to me? And that's true. Like, Ashley, what? What? Girl. So he goes to bed early. Ashley takes Ralph up to her room and they kissing, just making out and all this other stuff. And he's just like, I want to make love to you every day, all day, something like that. And she was just like, oh, my period started. So he would leave. And so, he goes on by his way. The next morning, um, the girls, like, next morning they're doing their morning routines or whatever. Shannon is talking to Wale and she's just asking him like how's he feeling and all this other thing. And she's just like, she likes Wale for Ashley and Giselle are talking. And Ashley says that she made out with Ralph the other night but it wasn't good. And Giselle's just like, wait, what? So now Ashley's having second thoughts. And it's just like, so Ashley basically tells she tells Giselle that she was talking to Wale about him wanting, when he wants to start having children or whatever. And she basically gave the gist of the conversation. And her main thing is she doesn't know if she wants to have kids, which is understandable. And she's afraid because she thinks that if she gets she's gonna if she picks Wale and they date for a couple of years and then they decide they decide to have kids or they don't have kids, it's just going to end in heartbreak because she's saying that the last time, like in her last marriage when she had kids, that's when her marriage started to fall apart. And she feels like that's going to happen with Wale. Or if she doesn't have kids, then um their relationship is gonna fall apart. Which again is understandable, but you knew all of this from jump. So we'll get to them. So we get to, again, we're at the next day and we meet the new men. So they bring six new men, and then another man comes back, and it was Mark. So the six new men that we meet is Mitch, Calvin, Brian, Theo, Anderson, Scott, and then Mark. I'm sorry, Mark comes back. Yes, Mark comes back. I think he was one of the first batch of guys that was there that liked Luann, but he really didn't get to have that one on. I don't know if he had a one-on-one date with her. No, I don't think they had a one-on-one date. So she didn't pick him. She had picked somebody else. Yes, that was when she had picked Ralph. So he comes back, and Luann is just like, oh, I wanted to, she was happy that he came back. So all the girls are mingling. Um, Calvin was doing too much because Calvin talked to Ashley first, and then Ashley was talking to another guy, and then Calvin comes and he's just like, "Oh, Ashley, just me and you. We need to go make some mores." And she was like, "No, not you, just me and Ashley." Like being real forceful, and it was just like, "Oh, you're doing too much." Like, I know you're trying to get on a show, but ugh. So they're all talking and they're, mingling with the new guys. Shannon is just like, yeah, no, none of these guys are for me. I think I'm going to stick with Earl because, she picked Earl the next night. So Giselle, she's only, I think it was Theo. Don't get me to lying, but I think it was Theo. That's the one guy that she was actually entertained by. So they get to pick three new guys because again they used the extra key on Wale last night, so they only had three keys. So they were like discussing on who they wanted to bring back. And Ashley like really was just like, so you would pick, they was like asking her, so wait, you want to pick Calvin over Wale? Are you okay? Are you okay? So they ended up picking Mitch, Theo, and Mark, and the rest of the guys left. So Luann, she was trying to get Mark to try to kiss her, but he wouldn't, because she was just like, oh my God, if you want me, you're gonna have to like do something, like be something about it. And she's just like, okay. Okay. So the new guys come back and they all are mingling with each other and everything like that. And Wale and Ashley come to the side to talk. So he's like, for him, and we're gonna do both sides. Ashley is talking about, she's trying to explain to him why she is hesitant about going forward with her, because she could see herself being with him, but she could also see herself getting heartbroken by him because of the situation that they're in, which is understandable. For Wale, when he tries to explain, like, what is, like, when he's asking her like what's the deal breaker, basically, she starts to twist his words, and she's trying to make it seem like he's saying that them having kids would be a problem, them not having kids would be a problem. And he's not, that wasn't what he was trying to say. He was trying to say, like, okay, so if having kids is that basically, well, from what I'm gathering, I think what he was trying to say was, is having kids the real reason that's holding you back? Is that the only thing that's holding you back? Because y'all could work through that. Y'all could go, like, there are ways that y'all can do, like, y'all can do something with that. If that is the deal breaker, if that's like a hard deal breaker for both of you, then maybe y'all can't work through it. Maybe y'all can. But he was trying to explain that to her, but she wouldn't let him talk. She just kept like twisting his words and being all extra and stuff. And like I said in, I don't know if it was my second or my first, the second or the first episode of the show, if she knew, like, her main thing is, and I feel like that's the only reason why she's not wanting to go there with him, is because of the kids aspect. She doesn't want to have any more kids. And it's like, if that's the case, then you should have said from jump, I don't want to have kids. If you are trying to have kids, I am not the one for you. She should never have given him the time of day if she knew for a fact that she did not want to have kids. So now you've wasted all of y'all's times, because now you're like playing in his face basically, and you're trying to get him to essentially break up with you. You're trying to make it seem like he's the bad guy for wanting to have kids with you, and you're saying, well, no, I don't want to have kids. It's like, again, you should have said this from jump. You should have never entertained him. If that was how you were going to feel, you should have stuck with your daddies. That's what you wanting. Like, that's literally what you want. But that should be off rip. That's what you should always say. Like, for Ashley, when you're dating you guys, do you have kids? If you have kids, that's great. If you don't have kids, do you want to have kids? If you don't want to have kids, boom, we can do this thing. If you don't have kids and you want kids, I'm not the one for you. Don't even come my way, because you're just going to end up hurting whoever you're talking to, because you keep entertaining these people like that's not a deal breaker for you. So you're going to continue to talk to these people, get to know them, be with them, date them for how many years, and then now you're going to have a kids conversation, and you knew from jump that you didn't want to have kids. So it's just like, why even put me through that? Why even waste a year of my time? Like, he's 38. Yeah, I think he's 38 and she's 36. Like, if you know for a fact that no, you don't want kids, like, that's a deal breaker for you, Ashley. Why are you even talking to him? Like, it's just so irritating and so annoying. Like, that whole last couple of minutes, that last segment of the show of them talking, it was so irritating, because it was just like, girl, you're not even letting him talk. Like, you just keep hushing him and shushing him and like trying to overtalk him, and you not letting him talk. And like he said, it's like, every time he says something, you always see the negative in it. And he's just like, I'm not saying nothing negative. Just like when you tell me stuff, I don't see the negative in what you're saying. Let me say what I'm saying and then we can discuss it. It's not a negative thing. And she'll just like, well, you said problem. And he was just like, well, maybe I misspoke, but you still aren't letting me talk. You're not letting me say what it is. Like, you are so, you're like, you're hanging on to that word problem and you're holding it against him. And it's just like, Ashley, why? Like, just let that boy, you don't, just let him know you don't want him. Just say, you know what, this ain't gonna be for me. Like, yeah, you want kids and that's a no. And another thing he was saying was just like, she was like, like when they first started talking, um she was just like, she said something and he was just like, oh, so you changed your mind? And she was just like, well, what do you mean? And he was just like, well, you picked Ralph. And she was just like, but I gave you the other key. And she was just like, he said, no, your friends wanted you to give me the key because they like me for you. You didn't choose me. You chose Ralph and I was second. Like, your friends chose me, not you. And I'm with him on that. Like, I'm not going to be nobody's second pick. Like, you picked Ralph. Why are you talking to me right now? Like, low key, I would have told them girls, like, thanks for the key, but no, I'm good. No, I'm good. Cause it's just like at this point, like, you too, Wale, you're like, you sitting there like you a glutton for punishment because it's like you gonna still talk to this lady after she's like, she's basically letting you know that she don't want to have kids. If you are gonna be okay with not having kids and raising her kids as your own, then okay, then you need to let her know that I'm okay with not having kids. Or if it's a thing of, I don't even know why she don't want to have no more kids. Like, her kids are still young. Like, I don't know. I mean, I can't tell nobody why they should or shouldn't have kids, but like, her kids are still like, they're like 5 and 3 or something like that. I don't know, but they're not like old old. At least I don't think they're not that old. They're not old old where it's like, okay, they're in their teens and I'm trying to have a baby. Like, it's not one of those. It's like, okay, so did you really just, were you gonna cap it at 2 with Michael, or I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, that last segment was just so irritating, annoying, and I was just like, it was such a good episode, and then we had to deal with, like, I remember why I don't like Ashley again. It's like, God, she's so annoying, so annoying. But anyways, that was the episode. If you like what you see, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.